Do you think Hendon Hooker or Blake Corum got snubbed from the Heisman finalists?
Did you see they released the top 10 in order?
No, I didn't.
What is that?
They put them. I wish I would have saved the image. Google it up. But Hooker was 5. I think Corum was 6 or 7. But it's on a screen. The 4 in the middle big, and the other 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They put the numbers beside them, and they're all on the sides.
Okay.
So they did release the order they all came out. Corum, nah, not so much. It's a quarterback award now,
right?
For the most part. Hooker, sure. I don't know why they just didn't put 5 in there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that he should be over anyone else, but he should. I feel like he should. But I do feel like they should have at least put 5 in there in this situation because he was elite and he had better stats. I don't want to call anybody out because I don't want to pull anyone out of the running. I think what these guys did, all great. Oh, here we go. We have it right here. I think C.J. Stroud is only in because he was way in at the very beginning and never played himself out. But I don't think he was super dynamic. Stetson Bennett, there's an argument that he probably shouldn't be in the top 4 either.
I like that, dude.
Especially with Hendon Hooker if you compare stats. But again, it's not just a stat award. Right. It's almost like Entertainer of the Year at the CMAs. You know what it means, but there's really no absolute definition or protocol as to how and why you get that person.
I feel it's like you look at them and you're like, all right, was that the best player of the year, like overall?
But I think also C.J. Stroud and Stetson Bennett get a little bit of benefit from last year because Stetson wins the national championship, wasn't even the starter all year, had a really good, borderline great season. We'll vote him in there. He's a quarterback at Georgia, the number 1 team. It's like the MVP race in all the professional sports. Usually you got one person from that team that's in that.
Mm-hmm.
It's rare that you don't have a person from the Yankees in the MVP race if they are winning the American League. If the Chiefs, Mahomes is going to be in the race. Mm-hmm. So Stetson Bennett is in because of that. He had a great season, but he's in because he's the quarterback for Georgia, and they didn't really have anybody else they were going to throw in there that should have been in there. You go to TCU. I mean, I'll go to Caleb Williams first. He's going to win it.
Yeah.
But nobody really came in and walked away with the Heisman this year. Yeah. He's going to win it because when everybody else had a shot, they either played fine or they didn't. But nobody had that door open for them to kind of kick the door down. So here we go. Here's the list. You have the 4. Hey, Eddie, can you name the 4 that are up for it?
Yeah. Can I name them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Duggan, Stroud, Bennett, and Caleb Williams.
Okay. Good for you, buddy.
Yeah, I got you. I'm not even looking at a list.
Well, you looked down at your computer, but then I realized you were searching for something.
What I'm looking for is the Heisman bet because it hadn't been up all week, and I still don't think it's up. But I think Caleb Williams is such a huge favorite. These betting sites are not going to put that bet up.
Well, he's also won the 2 big awards already for like player and offensive player of the year that aren't the Heisman. So, yes, it's him because nobody else deserves to win it over him. Stroud is not going to win it over him. Bennett's
How cool
not
would
win it
a
over
shocker
him.
be, though, dude? So when they're all there and they're like, all right, Caleb's ready. He's so ready. Stetson Bennett. Everyone's like, what the?
Max Duggan.
I would love to see Duggan win it.
Well, I would love it, too.
The reason I say that, and it probably won't happen anyway, we all know that.
Yeah.
The only reason I could see it happening is if there were another West Coast guy that was in that voting and it was splitting the vote a bit.
Yeah.
And that's not happening because Stroud's Ohio State, Midwest, Duggan, TCU, Texas, Georgia, SEC.
Yeah.
So it's the perfect scenario for Caleb Williams. Hooker at 5, Bryce Young at 6.
Why are you shaking your head?
Because I still think he's the best player I've watched all year.
You know what? And when you shook your head, I thought he doesn't think Bryce should be at 6. I think Bryce should be in the top 4.
I think he should win it.
Yeah, I agree.
I think if you put a C.J. Stroud even on that Alabama team, they don't win nearly most of the games, but they'll lose a lot more than 2 games.
Bryce Young is so good.
So good.
The only problem with him being drafted, because I was looking at, maybe it was Kuiper's big board, and he has the Kentucky quarterback, Levis, at 3 overall, and Bryce Young at 4 overall. And I think the difference, Bryce Young's height, they list him at 6 foot. I don't think he's 6 foot tall.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what I read was and I still think he's like the 4th or 5th overall pick, so don't waste your tears,
Right.
is that he processes the game so much faster than everybody else, they say. But Bryce Young at 6, again, they're not in it, so they're not in it.
Right.
But the same could be, Caleb Williams, USC's not in it.
Yeah.
They just, nobody could take it from him. Blake Corum at 7. Bijan, Drake May, who's coming back, by the way, in North Carolina.
Yeah.
He just said he's going to come back and play again next year.
I like watching that guy.
Which could have, he probably would have been a first-round guy. Because those quarterbacks will get drafted earlier than they really are worth if you're just basing it on talent, because it's so important of a position and maybe you get lucky. Or maybe Anthony Richardson will go in the first round because of the tools that he has from Florida. Now, did he play well enough to go, man, based on what he did at Florida, he should go in the first round? No. He had a couple games where we're like, golly. The Utah game at the beginning of the year, he won the Heisman.
That seemed like so long ago.
It does. He won the Heisman. It was awesome. Congratulations. But to your question, Hendon Hooker should have they should have done 5. I don't want to pull any of them out because I don't want to do that, but I think they could have done 5 and it'd have been fine. I wonder if they've ever done 5, by the way. And I don't think it's a participation thing. I just think Hooker deserved to be there. So, hey, take all 10. Who cares?
That'd be
Why
cool.
not? Send everybody to New York.
Yeah, why not?
Free trip.
Send them all there. So I'm going to go with, I think he should be in New York. If he wouldn't have been hurt, I could see him being in the top 3. If he had another game or so to pad some stats. I think they probably would have beat Vanderbilt. They would have still lost South Carolina because they were losing that game pretty bad.
Yeah.
But if they beat Vanderbilt, they're probably in it.
Yeah.
Wait. Hold on. Let me take it back. They didn't lose to Vanderbilt. Who did they lose to?
South Carolina.
South Carolina.
Yeah.
And they lost early. Who's the other game?
Georgia.
Right. They're not going to beat South Carolina, but I think he could have come into Vanderbilt and padded some numbers, and it'd have been a much easier argument because his numbers are already better than Stetson Bennett. All right, next question.
Do you think the
but Corum, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think the transfer portal is bad for college football?
No, I love the transfer portal. I would change a couple rules on it. I think just because it exists and you hate it now doesn't mean you should wipe it completely away. I think you could do a couple things to it to make it easier for everyone to keep up with. The good thing about it is once you transfer once, and as long as you're not a graduate, you can't transfer again. You're locked in. I do think they should make that 2 years. If you agree to go to a school, you got 2 years there. Similar to you can't go into the NFL until you are 3 years out of high school, or I don't know why I sung that, or
High school.
or the NBA right now, which will change again. You got to be 1 year out of high school before you go to the NBA. I think if you transfer, you should be, before you transfer, you should have 2 years at the program you transferred from. So you don't get there as a freshman, get your panties in a wad because you didn't play, because most freshmen don't play if you go to a Power 5 school. You see what happens your sophomore year, then if you don't like it, then you can go. So I think that small change would make a big difference. I haven't seen this anywhere. I haven't seen anyone write this. So I'm sure someone could tell me why I'm absolutely wrong, but I feel like 1 year is too quick. Yeah. But the good side of that is that if someone transfers to your school after 1 year, then you have them. They can't leave unless they graduate. Because if you do graduate, then you can transfer again. That's the rule. That's always been the rule. That's Russ. That's how he transferred from North Carolina State. He graduated, went to Wisconsin. So I like it, but I want to love it, and I think I can love it if they make a couple alterations. I got a couple nice suits, and they look really good, but they were just a little wide in the leg. And I wore one to the CMA. It was a blue one. I didn't have to pay for it. It's crazy now. I'm gonna tell you what the most bizarre thing. Now that I have money, I get stuff for free. It's crazy.
You still talking about the transfer portal?
Yeah, I'll get there. I'll get back over there.
You get stuck on the CMA awards.
Well, and so they send me this. It's a really nice company. They're like, we'd like to dress you for the CMAs, and I'm like, wait, what? How much does this cost? They're like, nothing. Do I have to post about you? No. Just wear it, and if you want to tag us. And I Googled how much the suit was. It's a $2,000 suit.
That's awesome.
And you're supposed to send it back.
Yeah.
But you wear it. You look good. You send it back. I don't have to pay any money. It was amazing. So I go and we alter the legs because the suit looks great, but the legs are a little wide on me. I'm in that weird size where if I wear a medium, it's a little big, but it's long enough. But if I wear a small size, it fits my legs, but it's too short because I'm tall and thin. And so we alter it just a little bit. Boom, nails it. It looks great. Go to CMAs, can't believe them. It's free. It's amazing. We do our thing, we get out of there. A post, you can see it on my Instagram. That slight alteration made all the difference in the world. It looked so good. They said, hey, thanks for doing that. You look great. Keep the suit. And I was like, really? They're like, yeah. I'm like, all right. So I have the suit and the shirt, everything with it. That slight alteration made it look perfect. Same thing with the transfer portal.
There we go.
If there is just a small 2 years, that's all I'm asking. It's just one more year. It's no big change. You got to be in for 2 years before you leave. If you do that, it's great. But yes, I love the portal. If in real life you go to a job you don't like, you go to a boss that makes you feel uncomfortable, it's too far of a drive, you can't get back to your family because traffic is so bad or it's a little further, you can change jobs in real life. Now, you don't want to go and do it for a month and then leave. It looks bad at your next employer. So you do have to stay a little bit. And if you do want to leave after 1 year, you have to sit out a year.
Yeah.
So you can leave.
Yeah, because that's what I was going to ask, too. Like, who is it? From SC to West Virginia, JT Daniels, Georgia. He's been to like
in 9 schools. He's the ultimate free agent.
Dude,
yeah.
When do you stop?
I'm assuming, and I remember when he played did he play in Missouri, right?
No. SC, Georgia.
He
West
never
Virginia?
played at Missouri?
Ohio State?
I don't know. Now we're just throwing teams out there.
Yeah. We're just guessing.
Okay. Yes, he's been everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, he is that song.
There
I've been to West Virginia, Montana, I'm assuming with him that happened early because he has 1 year of eligibility left, I think. It happened pre. Maybe he's a graduate as well. Maybe he used the portal. It's almost like you can play 7 years because of the COVID year.
Yeah, and he tore his ACL, I think, twice.
So there's a lot of situations there. But yes, I like the portal. I love the portal. I'm going to say that. I love the portal. I think it makes it more real life. I love NIL. I think it makes it more real life. You should be able to make money off of who you are. But should there be changes to these rules a little bit? Absolutely. It's the Wild West right now, and we're slowly figuring out who the sheriff is. We don't know yet.
Yeah.
So, okay, cool. What else you got?
Last college one here. Do you think the committee got the final 4 correct
On the Heisman?
for
No,
the
the
college
playoff.
football playoff?
I was about to say, guys, am I sick? Or did we just have this question? Yeah. I mean, controversial when I said it. And I know you guys probably didn't agree with me, but I said if TCU loses, they should stay in. And that was way early. And they did. So, yeah, I'm okay with it. I would have rather seen Alabama in than Ohio State. I think Alabama beats Ohio State. I think I'm just a SEC homer as well. I'll admit that. And Ohio State gets everything gifted to them.
Yeah.
Always. So, sure. I can't really argue. Ohio, sure. You saw everybody coming out hating Alabama.
Yeah.
Anti-Alabama.
So Bama fatigued.
But I'm Ohio State fatigued too.
Right.
I wish it would have been somebody else in the argument that we hadn't seen before. But yes, I would say they got it right. I wish they would have put Ohio State and Michigan up against each other first because we could watch that game again and it'd be fun. Because Georgia's going to pounce. Michigan's going to pounce. Probably.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to play each other. Whatever the case is, I'd love to see Ohio State and Michigan play again. I don't think it's going to happen now in the championship because TCU would have to beat Michigan.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen. Maybe. I don't think it's going to happen. Yeah, they got it right. Yes.
Okay. Going to the NFL here, do you think Brock Purdy can keep the 49ers afloat until Jimmy G possibly returns to the playoffs?
That San Francisco quarterback job is interesting because it doesn't seem like you have to do much. I feel like Eddie could go in there and
Give me that chance, Coach. I'll do it.
all you need is $5 million and a wristband, right, Eddie?
That's it.
You can go in
That's
there
all
and do
you
the same
need.
stuff.
And they got pretty good running backs, so we're good.
And I know that's wrong, what I'm saying. I know it's wrong. You can't just go in and do that. But I watched I say game tape. I'm going to be honest with you. I watch YouTube.
The highlights.
Yes, I want to watch some YouTube. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It's funny he was Mr. Irrelevant.
Right.
And that he stayed on the team. A lot of times those Mr. Irrelevant guys move to a different team, get cut.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure. I don't know enough about him except for what I watched on YouTube. And if all of the talking heads that I trust say they think he'll be fine, then I'm okay with it. San Francisco's really good. They're so good that they could have they could have one or two not great performances in the next couple weeks where he could grow into it. You know, I see it like Malik Willis on steroids when he played for the Titans and they didn't let him throw it and they won. Not that it's going to be that, because he did come in last week and play and looked fine. Yeah, he looked fine. And he has all this season he's had to get ready, and he's been the backup. When did Lance go down? Week 2? Week 3?
Yeah, week 2, I think. 2 or 3.
He's been the backup. So it's not like he doesn't know the system, and it's not like he's a rookie in the first 3 weeks of his NFL career. So, yeah, I imagine he will be fine.
Dude's got a lot of
But
weapons, man.
I know.
He's got a lot of weapons.
He's got a lot of weapons,
I
and,
thi-
and Jimmy G too. Like that's how Jimmy G plays ball. He just controls the ball, doesn't make mistakes,
Yeah.
and then gives it to those
Jimmy
guys.
G looked pretty good, though, at times. Like he
That's
really
true.
was playing a lot better than I had ever seen him play as far as playing wide open. They started to trust him a little more.
Right.
Jimmy was flinging it a little bit. But, yes, I'm going to go with yes because I trust a few people on TV. That's why. Yeah.
And YouTube.
Well, YouTube, he looked good. But
It's all the best.
I was watching highlights for sure. Okay, what else?
Do you think the Bengals have entered the conversation with the Bills and the Chiefs as the favorites in the AFC?
They did go to the Super Bowl last year. They did beat Kansas City this season. That's a big win. Golly, that's a big win. Because the win last season, in the playoffs, kind of a fluky situation where you're like, well, that wouldn't happen again. We could play this game 10 times. That wouldn't happen again. But no, I'm still going to say no. I think they're in that second tier. I think with Buffalo, though, they got a couple injuries they're dealing with. So I'm going to go no. They're not a favorite, but they are hey, they could do it again if you're not careful. They're the team you cover your bases with when you're talking about it. And you're like, yeah, the favorites are Buffalo and Kansas City, but don't forget about Cincinnati.
Yeah.
That way, if they do win, you did say don't forget about them.
I told you so.
Hey, who said don't forget about them? And you don't have to commit to them. But Joe Burrow, he's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow is I just trust him. I didn't matter what the situation is. I trust open heart surgery, Joe Burrow.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Hop in here, buddy. I trust
Okay.
you. You can do it.
Land a commercial airliner.
Yeah, let's go. All right. So no, but yes. Hey, just don't forget about him. Okay.
Okay, there you go.
Next one up.
Do you think, sticking with the Bills here, their injuries, Von Miller's injury, you feel less confident with them now, him going down for the year?
What's crazy is we don't think about Buffalo's defense that much because they have Josh Allen and they have Diggs and that we could just go through. But he was such an instrumental part of that defense.
Huge.
Not even just his play, but also the guy that's orchestrating a lot of the play calls as well. Yeah, I imagine it's going to be real big for them, but probably not as big in everyone's mind because they're not the focal point of that team as far as what from the public perception. It's a Josh Allen offense. But yeah, I would imagine. But the good thing is they can score a lot of points. So if they couldn't score a lot of points, I think I'd be a little more concerned. But Buffalo's they're a healthy organization. And it's weird to say that after a whole lifetime of them not being. I still think they're fine until they prove otherwise. I feel like Josh Allen's, they're not talking about his arm anymore.
No, he's hit that pretty well. If he's still hurting, we can't tell.
And I don't know that he still is anymore. No, literally, I don't know if he still is.
Yeah,
I haven't talked to
know.
him. Yeah, literally, I don't know.
We have no clue.
But I'm going to go with, I'm sure they're going to have to figure out how to do it, but I think they're going to figure out how to do it because they are a well-run organization right now.
Can Von Miller still be an effective leader from the sideline? Like, is that possible?
Sure. Yes, but what's effective mean? His play was a big part of why he was so effective as a player and a leader. But yes, I think he'll be respected. It also comes to a point where once players are hurt, like how much do they actually still invest in? He'll still be there. He'll still be doing everything. And I don't know Von Miller personally, but I know some players that, yeah, they're there and they're on the sideline cheering, but they're not in the room all the time.
Yeah.
They're not spending all this time in film with the other linebackers. Now, if he does that, I think he's worth even more. But if he doesn't, which I don't know that we all would spend the exact same amount of time if we're injured
Right.
in those rooms than if we weren't.
Well, you probably have to rehab too, so that takes a lot of time.
So, yes, he can be effective, but as effective, probably not. Next up.
Last one. Do you think Jalen Hurts and the Eagles are in a conference of their own in the NFC?
No, they're also in a conference with the Cowboys and the Commanders
Yeah.
and the Giants.
Yeah.
That's a whole conference
It's called
there.
the East.
Yeah.
So no,
I think
Sorry, Bobby.
I think the Cowboys can beat them.
love it.
I do. I think the Cowboys can beat them. Yes, they're awesome. I did bet them to have the most wins of any team in the NFL at the beginning of the season. I'm pretty happy about that so far. But I do think they have a couple losses still remaining. I think the Cowboys can beat them. I think the Cowboys will beat them. I think they will, and then they probably will again in the playoffs.
When do they play again?
Christmas Eve.
Yeah,
Christmas Eve.
That'd be awesome. And they'll be playing full strength, quarterback, both running backs. As long as nothing crazy happens this weekend, let's go. Cowboys Nation, is that what we say?
Yeah, that's fine. Cowboys Nation's great.
Who dat?
Absolutely.
Cowboys.
No, not who dat.
Who dat?
Oh, no.
Who do? What do we say?
No. Them boys.
That's just so stupid.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Dim boys.
Who dat is stupid.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I thought it was connected. In the end, I think you have the Cowboys. I think you have the Eagles. The Giants are pretenders.
The Commanders
Vikings?
don't.
The Vikings
Come
are
on.
the Vikings. They're not pretenders, but they're Bengals light. No, hey, don't forget about the Vikings.
Here we go.
They're Bengals light.
Here we go.
They're Bengals without as good a quarterback. Where if they do, you're like, I told you, don't forget about them. But you don't really expect them to. I think their ceiling is winning the second round. Ceiling. But don't forget about them. You know what I mean?
Forget about them.
Where do the Bucks stand in your vision here in the NFC?
Their offensive line is why they're probably not going to win it. Brady has no time. Brady's arm is great. Brady can still fling it, but he's like this. He has to get rid of it because he's just.
Yeah.
If I were 63, I wouldn't want to get hit either. It's harder to get. I mean, when I fall now at 42, it hurts to get up. Just now.
Yeah.
Even if I sit on the floor to play with the dogs,
Getting up
it
sucks.
hurts. Yes. Imagine you're 45 and getting hit, knocked down there, and then getting up.
You can see it in his face every single time. Like, oh, God, it's going to hurt.
If that offensive line could just play 25% better, don't forget about the Bucks.
Don't forget about them.
Okay. Can they do hurry up offense the entire game? The entire game from
No.
the first snap. Go, 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 go. No huddle. Let's go.
I don't think Fournette is enough of a receiving running back to be able to do that.
Because it seems like that's the only thing that's working for him. In the last 2 minutes of the game, hurry up, no huddle. Let's
Put
beat
it all
these
on Brett.
guys.
Okay, here's what we're going to do. Every drive, we have 1 minute, no timeouts.
I could be exhausted.
But I still have faith in Tampa to come together a little better. And it's just only because of Brady. It's a faith that is not deserved except for Tom Brady.
Yep.
So don't forget about the Bucks.
All right.
You've heard me say don't forget about it.
Don't forget about
Don't
it.
Look, man, we're not forgetting, all
That
right?
division, though, just think about this. The Bucks
Oh, I love it.
or the Saints
Hey, Falcons.
or the Falcons,
Oh, hey.
which have switched quarterbacks. Ritter's going to be their quarterback this week.
Don't forget about the Falcons.
Or the Panthers. They're going to host a playoff game. Think about that. Somebody has to win that division, and they will host a playoff game. You don't want to have to go to Tampa and play Tom Brady, even if they come in one game under 500. So that's what's up. Don't forget about the whole division. I still feel like the Panthers can do it.
Oh,
I
stop
still
that.
feel like the Panthers can do it.
Oh,
Hey,
boy.
don't forget about the Panthers. Is that it, Kevin?
That's all.
All right.